to talk about Jao Gomez because Manchester United like Jao Gomez. Manchester United have had a long-standing interest in Jao Gomez, been linked to him by many credible journalists, and no one is ruling out a January move. Elliot Anderson is the dream. Everyone keeps saying the summer. Baleba, they keep saying the summer. Wharton, they say there's going to be competition. But Man United have opened conversations with Wolves about Jao Gomez. United like him. Ben Jacobs has said that. Romano has said that, and a move could be on the cards. We literally had less than a week ago Record Portugal come out and say that Jao Gomez wants to join United, and United will need to pay around 40 million to sign him, which I think is a decent price. We're going to talk about Jao Gomez, Anderson, Baleba, what's going on, and why this transfer could be close. Mateus Cunha has picked up an injury, but shouldn't be out long. What is the truth behind these injury rumours? We're going to talk about Maino. We're going to talk about Bitek and more. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup show, where we're going to round up all the latest Manchester United news in the next 10 minutes for you guys, starting with Jao Gomez. Before I get into today's story on Jao Gomez, I'm just going to give you a timeline on what's been said about Jao Gomez over the last week. So, it first came out from Nathan Salt and Chris Wheeler, who are good journalists, that Manchester United are monitoring Wolves midfielder Jao Gomez as they will prioritise signing a number 6. 2 days later, it came out from Sean Connolly that Ruben Amorim and the Ineos hierarchy are considering a move for Jao Gomez as early as January, as the Brazilian player ticks many of Jason Wilcox's books. Record Portugal said Ruben Amorim wants to strengthen the midfield and wants Jao Gomez for the January window, and Jao Gomez is open to joining. United will have to pay around 40 to 44 million to sign him. It was then said that scouts have been looking at numerous players, including Jao Gomez, Elliot Anderson, and Wharton for the midfield by United Frenzy. Ben Jacobs then went on the United stand 2 days ago and said that Manchester United like Jao Gomez. Suitors of Gomez may try their luck in January, considering Wolves' position in the Premier League, aka they want to get their higher earners off the wage bill in the January window, with a player pushing for the move. But it looks like, according to reports out in Brazil, Man United are finally actually making a move for Jao Gomez. Conversations have taken place in recent days between Manchester United and Wolves for the transfer of Jao Gomez. There is hope, and the expectation is that a move will happen in the January window. So, expectation is that the move will happen in the January window. That's big. There's an expectation move up in the January window. United have finally started working on it and had talks with Wolves. Now, Wolves, it's Man United, are going to try and get as much money as possible. But I said this today, because Baleba had another crap game, and, Baleba was unreal last season, but spending 100 million on a youngster after one good season is such a risk with the inconsistencies. I think Jao Gomez has had a lot of solid seasons in the Prem. You can drop 40 million on Jao Gomez in January, 80 million on Baleba, on Anderson in the summer. I'm all right with that. I think the dream has always been Baleba and Anderson, but I'm open to Jao Gomez, and I saw this comparison here. Signing Jao Gomez in January would get us a top 6 finish 100%. Look how similar his defensive stats are with Casemiro. With Jao Gomez being PL proven as an added bonus, can hit the ground running. I can guarantee if we sign him, he will have an immense impact for us. Now, this guy's being very positive. I'm not quite like that because it's difficult to do it in a Man United shirt, and he plays for a team where he doesn't have a lot of the ball. But I do think he's an upgrade on Agate in terms of Casemiro backup. And I just think with the fact that the Baleba has been hooked at half-time for the 4th time this season, is having an awful season. Do you want to wait till the summer and get Baleba and Anderson? Or do you want to get Jao Gomez in January, go for Anderson in the summer? I'm saying this now as someone that loved Carlos Baleba, thought it was unbelievable last season. Elliot Anderson has to be priority in midfield. Elliot Anderson has to be the midfielder that we go all out for, that we prioritise. He has to be that. Because I just think with Baleba, I'm not sure. I'm thinking if Jao Gomez is half the price of Baleba, and you can get Jao Gomez in January, who's been better this season, despite Wolves' position in the league, he's not the reason that they're down there, and then Elliot Anderson, who we get in the summer, I'm leaning more towards that. This is what I tweeted. Another stinker from Baleba today. As good as he was last season, this form is worrying. Elliot Anderson has to be priority for Man United now. Also open to Jao Gomez in January while we wait for Anderson in the summer. Because when Casemiro doesn't play, we fall off a cliff. And I know people are like, but we can't give Maino a go in midfield, but that's because Maino's competing with Bruno. We need someone that's going to compete with Casemiro that isn't Agate, like Jao Gomez, that might be that level up from Agate, We know we can do it in the Premier League, because if Casemiro gets injured, imagine our season. We could be losing Ahmad and Bumo and Mazraoui for about 8 games. There's rumours of Cunha being injured. Like, it's worrying. Like, it's worrying, because I think we've got a squad capable of finishing in the top 6 or top 7. I think we've got a squad good enough to get Europa League. A few injuries stop that. Ahmad and Mbuma going to AFCON and a few bad results stop that. I think we're good enough to finish in that sort of top 7, get Europa League. And I think if we don't, there will be questions on amorim. But it also comes down to injuries, because obviously Visit Altrincham put out this. Cunha has had an accident in training today and will not be able to attend the Altrincham Christmas lights, which are on tonight due to medical reasons. So a lot of people were concerned, could Cunha have picked up an injury? It was said by Ben Jacobs that Mateus Cunha sustained a knock in training today to his head. It's only a minor issue, but enough for him to stay home for the Christmas event in Altrincham. So it's a minor head injury. They just don't want him out and about, if he's got a mild concussion or something. I'm not sure. But Mateus Cunha issue a knock in training, only a minor issue. They're probably going to see how he is tomorrow. Just a knock on the head. I think they're just being overly precautious. But with head injuries, I think you've got to be overly precautious. In terms of other injury news, Sully, who's very good at getting inside information in and around Man United, said that Kobbie Mainoo is back in group training today and could be in contention to be in the Everton squad. Maguire isn't expected to be in the Everton squad. Sesko isn't expected to be in the Everton squad. But Leitcher and Mainoo could be in contention to be in the Everton squad, which is good. I think Mainoo, I really want to see him get more minutes. As you guys know, pardon me, I was about to burp there. I love Mainoo. And I also want to talk about a couple of our loan players. Ethan Wheatley scored today on loan. Another clean sheet for Vitek. Vitek is having a crazy season. Like, this guy could give Le Mans some serious competition. Championship, Bristol City are 4th, so they're well in that playoff space. This is the best Bristol City have looked in a while, when every Bristol City fan is loving Vitek. And you know what's also mad is, if you search Dan Gore, every single Rotherham fan is loving Dan Gore. Like, if you search Dan Gore on Twitter, here are the tweets. Dan Gore is head and shoulders above anyone else in his position in this league, in League One. Rotherham United have a break clause to send Dan loan to Man United in January if they aren't satisfied with his loan spell. Obviously, they're not going to do that. He's doing really well. Dan Gore played the full 90 for Rotherham as they did 1-1 versus Reading. And Charlie Savage actually got on the score sheet in that game today, ex-United Academy player as well. But he's been phenomenal the last 2 games for Rotherham with his passing, his movement. Ethan Williams is doing all right as well. So it's good to see that, United players having a good loan. Harry Amos is obviously having a very good loan. I'd like to see Toby Collier get more minutes, but it's still early. But it's good to see the United players doing well on loan, particularly Dan Gore with the injury issues that he's had. But I think Vitek has been probably our standout player on loan, followed by Amos. But I think Dan Gore is one to watch. But listen, people, I'm going to make this like an 8-minute roundup, because there's not actually enough news to really talk about for 10 minutes. Oh, Pogba made his return as well. Interesting story there. So good to see Pogba come back and get a few minutes. I really wish Pogba the best, because he was out for so long. So it'd be nice to see him get some more minutes and try and not get injured. But yeah, thank you for watching. Liverpool are rubbish. See you next time. Bye.